Second place is definitely better than third, and we still have 2 opportunities to knock the Bears off their perch before the end of the season. It was an ugly win in New York this weekend, but I'll take it. Wayne and I will recap that game and look forward to Minnesota next week, as well as share feedback from the best Packers fans out there. All this and more coming up next on your Packers Fan Podcast.
Welcome back. Wayne Henderson here, and I gotta say, that game was a lot closer than it really needed to be. But still, happy for the victory.
Absolutely. I'm Scott Clark from the Gaming Outsider, and I gotta say, this was an interesting game for me to watch, Wayne. This is a rare instance where the Packers game was not live on national television in my area because the Bears game superseded it. So I had to go to the bar to watch it. But since the Bears take precedence at local bars around here, they had that sound in the bar, and I had to watch our game with no sound while surrounded by Chicago fans. Not sure how I got out of there alive, but it was an interesting experience.
I'll say.
This is episode 332 of the Packers Fan Podcast. We are going to review all of our favorite things from the win over the Giants and some not so favorite items as well. As always, we'll have some great listener feedback as well.
And then the Vikings are coming to town. The Vikings are coming to town. They are finally coming to Lambeau Field this season, and we're looking forward to previewing that matchup. And I know that you like keys to Packers victories. Scott's going to be sharing all of those later in the show as well, so be ready.
Absolutely, but let's get into the leaders of this victory over the New York Giants. On the passing side of the ball, obviously Jordan Love, 13 for 24, 174 yards, 2 TDs, 0 interceptions, and a passer rating of 105.2. I know that was not Josh Allen numbers, but still, that's nothing to get upset about. Rushing, Emmanuel Wilson was the number 1 carrier at 11 carries for 40 yards and 1 touchdown. Receiving, Romeo Doubs got the top spot at 4 catches for 53 yards, but I gotta also give credit to Christian Watson, who had 4 catches for 46 yards, just a few yards less than Romeo Doubs, but he had 2 touchdowns to boot. I think he should get the top spot, but numbers are numbers. Defense, Isaiah McDuffie had 11 tackles for 5 solos and a half a sack. So that was awesome. Some pretty good numbers over there.
Yeah.
Opening drives. We actually started on defense this time, and I was just wondering, this is me taking notes while I'm watching the game on my phone, by the way, because I was at the bar.
Right.
What happened to our defense? Last week, I was like, our defense is unstoppable. They're winning games for us. They're the only thing going good. And then the Giants marched down the field uncontested and put it in the end zone very quickly. Giants were leading 7-0 right out the gate, and I was like, oh, here we go. Here we go. And then the opening offensive drive, we got the ball. Looked like they were going to make something happen, and wound up having to punt anyway. So, again, going into the third series here, Giants are still leading 7-0, and I was getting nervous already, man. I don't know about you.
I think nerves are just the name of the game these days, Scott. Because Jordan Love got some sort of injury. Malik Willis took over, but immediately helped the Packers get their first score. Beautiful catch by Christian Watson. Kudos to him for being able to hang on to the ball. And fun fact, according to the Packers history account, Christian Watson is the first Packer to have a receiving touchdown from 2 different quarterbacks in the same game since Phil Epps, who had scoring catches from both Lynn Dickey and Randy Wright back October 6th, 1985. So that's pretty good. 2 TDs, 2 different quarterbacks, whatever it takes.
What a stat. How did you find that out?
It just popped up in the timeline. I go, well, that sounds like something good for the show. And unfortunately, Havrasek missed the extra point. A little windy in New York. So the Giants were leading 7-6. I'm like, almost along your same line, Scott. Oh boy, here we go.
Yeah, I don't know. And we're going to talk about Havrasek quite a bit because he did miss another one later in the game as well. It was very windy in New York. If you couldn't tell by all the deep balls that LaFleur had, and I'm just being angry. But yeah, I'm not ready to throw Havrasek to the wind like a lot of people are. Like, oh, let's bring back McManus. No,
get Mason Crosby on the line.
What's Chris Jackie doing? Wilson ran one for 11 yards to give Green Bay their first lead. Kind of wondering why they didn't go for 2 at this point. It was interesting. Like, I know they did it later, but why not do it now? It just kind of made no sense to me. Regardless, the Packers We're leading 13-7 at this point, but it would have been nice to be 14-7.
Indeed, it would be. And the Packers did take that lead on the first drive of the third quarter, thanks to a huge pass interference call in our favor. Packers got the ball on the 2-yard line, and 2 plays later, Wiley was wide open on the right-hand side of the end zone. Sadly, this is where Haversick missed another extra point. So our lead was now 19-13, and I'm thinking, okay, we're building a little bit of a cushion.
You know what else I was thinking?
What?
Who is Wiley?
Well, I was thinking that as well. But hey, he has a green G on his helmet. It's good enough for me.
I feel bad. I don't know, like all the depth we've got in our lineup, obviously, but he caught the ball, and I'm used to seeing numbers that I recognize, and I'm like, who is that guy? I'm a terrible Packers fan, but anyway, back in the third quarter, we had a huge stop on fourth down. New York had it inside the red zone, decided to go for it on fourth down. Micah Parsons sacks Jameis Winston for his 7-yard loss. Green Bay takes over on their own 17. Man, I'm so happy to see Micah Parsons on our side of the ball. It's been great.
These are good times, especially for our defense, except for how the game started. But Christian Watson snags one in double coverage towards the end of the fourth quarter. How he caught it, it's beyond me. But thankfully, we did a 2-point conversion, and it was good. The Packers were leading 27-20, and 27 sounds awfully familiar this year.
Yes, and that did end up being the final score for Green Bay. Man, that's 5 times. 5 times they've ended the score with 27 points.
Absolutely crazy.
Kind of nuts. And then, so the Giants got a chance to kind of go down the field and try to tie the game. Thankfully, Evan Williams intercepted Jameis Winston in the end zone to prevent a score. So that was awesome. But then the Packers got the ball, had a 3-and-out, giving New York about 40 seconds to get within field goal range after a huge kickoff return. Thankfully, Parsons and McDuffie sacked Winston, forcing a fumble, and thus ending the game. And that was the dagger. So yeah, good stuff. Good stuff.
Indeed it was. And the fact that we finally got that interception, because there were a few close calls where I thought for sure this is going to be our pick 6. This is going to be our interception. But hey, better late than never, right? We did win the game, so it's not too late. Now, some lowlights. What is up with Jordan Love? You know, near the end of the first quarter, he went into the blue tent. A couple minutes later, he jogged into the locker room. Didn't look too bad. Malik Willis took over. And so at least for a while, this was officially the battle of the backup quarterbacks. But Love did come back in the second quarter and played pretty well the rest of the game. I mean, you mentioned his quarterback rating at the top of the show. So disaster averted, at least on that front.
And I couldn't obviously hear. So what were they saying during the game? What was the reason?
Well, to be quite frank, I couldn't hear most of the game either, because after my grandson's baptism, my son-in-law and my daughter, they had a bunch of members from their church come over we had a big lunch and a big watch party for the game. So I didn't hear a lot of it either. Gotcha. But he looked okay.
Yeah, it looked okay to me. Moving on with more lowlights, the penalties allowed another score by the Giants right before halftime. One play we had pass interference and a roughing the passer play on the same play. This put the Giants inside the 5. They were able to score easily. They had to kick the extra point a second time, and you're going to have to help me out. I couldn't tell why. Was there a penalty that forced them to do it a second time? Because they made the first one.
There were just so many weird things happening. Actually, this entire season with kicks, and like last week when we called a timeout and there was all that nonsense, it's hard to say. It was the Giants. It was wind. It was kicking. Just an absolutely crazy day on the football field. And since they don't play on grass, they've got that field turf. It's no good.
Well, thankfully, they did make the first one, but they had to redo it. The second one was no good. So the game did wind up staying tied at 13-13 at that point. And man, that it felt like, okay, we're missing them. They're missing them. It's fine. It's fine.
More touchdowns, please.
Yeah.
One other low light that jumped out at me was the Giants pretty much walking all the way down the field later in the game and tackling. And Scott, I'm going to use the term loosely. It's really, really frustrating at times. And the Giants' PAT was good. So the Giants, this was when they had the lead 20-19. But tackling. I mean, wrap them up, people.
Mm-hmm. It's brutal. And then one last low light, Josh Jacobs does have a knee injury. He wound up leaving the game, I believe.
Yeah, that was scary. I'm like, really? They're dropping like flies out there.
Yes, but per Adam Schefter earlier today, quote, test today on Josh Jacobs' knee revealed no structural damage, and the Packers running back now will be considered week to week, unquote. So it looked terrible, but it's I really don't want to go back to relying on our passing game all the time. But although Josh Jacobs isn't our only guy,
right?
We've got a little bit of depth there, so I'm not overly concerned, especially since it seems like there's nothing structural, like they said. But I don't want to go through another season worried about injuries like we have in years past. Let's just keep everybody healthy, please.
Yes, please. So that wraps up the game and brings us to the weekly poll question you can find in our Facebook group. Again, that's at PackersCommunity.com, and you can also find it on X at Packers Fan Pod shortly after the game's done. Want to know, how confident are you that the Packers can overcome the in-game adversities like they did this week? Next week, when we're against Minnesota, how confident are you that we can overcome and win? What do you think, Scott? Are you confident?
I'm still worried, man. I'm still worried. I mean, this was the Giants. They had a brand new coach. They're a second string quarterback, and we got by in with one score. Now we're playing the Vikings, who basically have to win out to have a chance in the playoffs. So they're in playoff territory at this point, must-win situations. They're going to be hungry for it, and the Bears are going to be playing the Steelers with an injured Aaron Rodgers. Possibly. So the Bears will probably win that game. We got to do it just to stay even keel with the Bears at this point. But it's not a desperate. I feel like the Packers this season are only at 110% when they've got something major on the line, and this isn't a major on the line. So yeah, I'm still worried, man.
Okay, are you sure you don't want to change? Because still worried is one of the options. There's also pretty confident. Because, to me, it feels like a page might have been turned. Or the heart attack pack are going to just heart attack pack. Because in Japan, there's a phrase called shogunai, which is kind of like, it is what it is. And I just think we're going to be the heart attack pack. And then we did have a write-in vote from Nate Graham who said, if we can reduce the drops and get our kicking game back on track, he would be very confident. But
there were a lot of drops this game. It was kind of like, how did you miss that? It was right in your hands.
Even on defense.
Paid to do this, man. It's ridiculous.
I'm going to go with the heart attack pack are going to heart attack pack shogunai. I'm just going to resign myself to the fact that it's just going to be this way. We're going to overcome, or maybe we're not going to overcome. Things are happening, but the votes, after you combine Facebook and Twitter and X or whatever you want to call it these days, the heart attack back, gonna heart attack pack, that got 48% of the votes. Still worried, like you, Scott, 35%. And then we had 14% were pretty confident because they also feel like a page has been turned, and 3% said, I'll be confident if we can reduce the drops and get our kicking game back on track and score touchdowns and not do penalties and play fundamental football.
So they can just play right. Yeah, I'm confident.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just reading between the lines, Scott.
I know. We did have a comment on the poll over on our Packers Fan Podcast Facebook group. Garrett Stritzel says, the O-line issues continue to be a problem. Injuries are mounting. The defense is beginning to wear down. They finished with 2 TOs, but 2 touchdowns. I think that's supposed to be touchdowns. But the whole game, they couldn't stop the run. The team needs big plays all 4 quarters. Could not agree more. That is my biggest frustration with this team is I feel like there's no consistency. They came out the gate winning 2 games looking strong. They beat the Lions right out at the beginning of the season. But then we lost, the Browns. We lost to the Panthers.
I know.
We tied the Cowboys and like we almost beat the Eagles. Like just like everything does not make any sense on paper for what, we're not lining up with what should be happening in any of these games, and there needs to be that consistency for me to feel a little bit better. So I'm hoping this Sunday, nice, right, smooth sailing.
Absolutely, because next week begins the run, and we could get 2 in-division victories in a 4-day span and really change our fortunes. So these are going to be games to watch. Please make it a point to join the Packers Fan Podcast Facebook community. Be part of the conversations at packerscommunity.com, especially for the live game chat sections we have every week. And we're going to have one for the Vikings at Packers game because the division is finally coming to Lambeau. It's been a long time since that week 1 win over the Lions. But now, what is it? 5 of our next 7 games are against division rivals.
It's going to be interesting. I'm a little nervous because, as I mentioned last week, I'm going to this game, right? And it's at noon, which is fine. Game's at noon, solid. I get out of there by 3. We're home by 6 or 7. Plenty of time to rest up. I'm so worried they're going to flex this game to 3 o'clock, and then I'm not going to get home till way, way late. So please, it helped that the Vikings lost yesterday. That made it not as big of a game this week. So hopefully it stays at noon, but fingers crossed. Anyway, it is time for some listener feedback. We want you to be part of the PFP. We want your insights after watching the game against the Giants, but also please leave your wager a fun score guess for the Week 13 Thanksgiving Packers at Lions game. Let your voice be heard by either recording your voice, attaching to an email, and sending to feedback at PackersFanPodcast.com or by calling the PFP voicemail line at +1 920 3PACK-GO. That is +1 920 3PACK-GO. We've extended the deadline for your feedback just in case you need it, so please send it in before 10 o'clock a.m. Central Time on Monday. Of course, the sooner the better. Thank you, and go, Pack, go.
Go, 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 Pack, go! How about Xavier Williams pulling it out? The 32-yard run and catch for the first down when we really, really needed it. I wanted to start off on a positive note because there's plenty of other things to talk about. But also, how about Christian Watson with 2 touchdowns? Love it. He's doing better than he was last year, I think. Hopefully, this is a sign of things to come. What I don't want to see is what happened last year. I know they were in a city of New York who's known for dropping a particular ball, but it doesn't mean you need to emulate that, Green Bay. 7 drops on offense, 4 dropped potential interceptions. No excuse for that. I hope to God Matt LaFleur and all those position groups put their players in front of a jugs machine. Because I swear to God, I thought somebody from the Packers organization came by my house and stole my air fryer because it's been a hot minute since that thing's been cleaned and it's full of grease. That's all I got to say about that. Now let's talk about a couple of the negative things. How about Tyrone Tracy? You know, the guy that is running the ball? It's like, did the coaching staff and the players not get the memo? Because that guy, he was responsible for 23 touches in that game. There were only 69 plays total that the New York Giants ran. That's 33% of the plays. And he was doing whatever the heck he wanted to, I feel like. How about the clock management at the end of the game? You know, they couldn't because of the Giants having 3 timeouts at the end of the game. Why not, go into shotgun and have Jordan Love run around for a while and waste some clock? That was pretty poor time management, in my opinion. And while it looked like injuries were going to be a huge thing, which they were, but every person that exited the game yesterday, except for Josh Jacobs, they came back into the game. So that's a good thing for moving forward. Quay Walker was the only one listed on the injury report with a stinger, so hopefully that's nothing more than a muscle bruise. Who's Josh Weil? I don't even know if I'm saying that right. He made that touchdown reception, and I was like, who is that guy? Yeah, he did better than Luke Musgrave. Luke Musgrave, he was 1 for -1 and a fumble that went out of bounds, thankfully. But how about Malik Willis coming in and getting it done while Jordan Love was being evaluated for a concussion? I hate to say it, but I think he's going to be probably on another team next year. I think he really is QB1, starting quarterback quality, because he just came in he probably had no reps with the number 1 team. during the practice sessions this week, and he came in and made a touchdown. No, to the tight end 3, I think, tight end 4. I don't even know at this point. Fortunately, Jordan Love only was sacked, I think, a couple of times, but he was still scrambling around because I swear that offensive line looked like straight up explosive diarrhea. And speaking of explosive diarrhea, how about that kicking game? I kid. You can't really fault those guys too much. I mean, there was 3 missed kicks in this entire game. That wind was whipping around 35 miles an hour. I had some friends that were at the game, and they said, yeah, that wind was really kicking. And like one of the kicks that Haversack missed, I don't know if you watch the tape, you can see that the ball was rotated with the laces in. Laces out, Dan. Laces out. Speaking of looking at the tape, did anybody else notice Kingsley Enagbare taking a leak on the sideline, peeing on New York Giants field? I thought that was hilarious. But you want to talk about funny? Leave it to my son, my 11-year-old autistic son, who came up with the zinger of the night. I was in there watching the game, and after one of the multiple drops, yelling at the TV, doing my fan thing, and he says, "Dad, go touch some grass." And I'll leave it at that. It's been a hot minute since I laughed that hard. Oh, my son, the comedian. And now truly looking forward to next Sunday at Lambeau Field versus the Minnesota Vikings, the purple incarnation of Satan, as Tom Grossi likes to refer to them. Going to see you out there, Scott. Can't wait to meet up with you. We got to get some Go Pack Goats. Any other Scott Boers, any other PFP listeners out there that are going to the game, get in touch with us. We'll have a great time. And here's the wager of fun prediction. I'm sticking with the 27 theme. 27, Green Bay, Minnesota Vikings, 14. Send them packing home back to Minnesota with a loss. Go, 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 pack, go.
Go Pack Go indeed. Thanks, Dan. As always, great to hear from you. It's going to be awesome to meet up with you at Lambeau. I think we're doing a brewery tour.
Oh my!
The Saturday night before there, we're going to go up to what is it? Titletown Brewing Company, I think is what it's called. They got some pinball machines in the room there, so we're going to enjoy some brews and play some pinball. My wife actually loves to go tour breweries and distilleries, even though she's not much of a drinker. So I'm looking forward to that. And I think Dan said he booked the same tour, so he's going to go with us. Scott Boers, if you're listening, man, I haven't talked to you in a minute. Let me know if you're in town. Megan, are you coming to the game? I heard your boyfriend's a Vikings fan. I assume you're going to be going to this game. It would be great to finally meet you in person. Anybody else, please come out there. But back to Dan's voicemail. I did not see somebody peeing on the sideline. Did you see that, Wayne?
Briefly.
I totally missed that. I didn't even know that was a thing.
It's a thing. But
Crazy.
They're dropping balls like a Times Square New Year's Eve special, Scott.
That was pretty funny. I thought the comment from Dan's son was pretty funny. Go touch grass. Yeah. Were you being cringe, Dan? Is that what the kids are saying? Why are we being so extra?
No. Is his son going around 6'7" or whatever?
6'7".
Oh my gosh, kids today, you gotta love it. But Dan, you made an excellent point because Malik Willis definitely came in with hardly any prep, got it done. It's sad to say that he probably will have a starting job somewhere next season. If he does, it better be out of the division. Okay, yeah. Malik, if you're listening, I know you are.
There's a lot of teams out there that are in need of a QB1.
But man, he is a fantastic backup. Like when Jordan Love got injured, I'm like, oh man. But then I remembered we have Malik Willis. I actually was not nervous at all.
Yeah.
I don't want Jordan Love injured.
Correct. But the fact that he was jogging off the field and he didn't look happy, but he didn't look in pain. Yeah. As it were. But as for the kicking game, like I said,
explosive.
I kind of give Haversack this one with the wind. The wind was pretty rough. So
it was pretty rough for Brandon the last couple of weeks as well. There's too much wind out there. But that's what brings you explosive kicking games. Laces out. Oh, my goodness. Good stuff.
William Scott, Art from Texas. Will the real Green Bay Packers please stand up? This weekend, I didn't get to see the game at all, so I watched highlights. I know I can't really qualify to comment, but based on what I saw and what my brother told me, this weekend was like the opposite of the last. This weekend, Jordan Love had a decent outing, and the receivers were dropping passes all over the place. Not only that, the guy we were asking for, the kicker, Haversack, goes in there and shanks one. But you know what? At least it was a win. Sorry, I'm keeping my eyes on the road here. I have it on speaker. At least it was a good win that we needed. Big time road win. And looking on to the next opponent, and hopefully, I don't know. It's the puzzling Packers. I'm puzzled. I don't know what to say. But green and gold till I'm dead and cold. Go Pack, go.
Go Pack, go indeed. A puzzled Art in Texas. Yes, please keep your eyes on the road. But thank you so much for giving us a call at +1 920 3PACK-GO. Great question. Will the real Green Bay Packers please stand up? Because, like you mentioned, Scott, the inconsistency, what are we going to get? I think victories is what we're going to get, Scott.
Of course you do.
I have to. I have to. Let's go ahead and preview the next game because victories are coming our way, I'm hoping. Your 13-time NFL champion Green Bay Packers are back home at Lambeau Field to host the 0-time NFL titleists Minnesota Vikings. They haven't won a title yet, so I still have trouble with their name. Anyway, Sunday, November 23rd at 12 noon Central, unless Scott fears that they flex it. This is the 130th meeting in this rivalry, and the Packers do lead the series all time, 66-60, and 3 ties. And it all started with a 33-7 Packers win on October 22nd, 1961. And in honor of our Packers going on the road to Minnesota and shellacking the Vikings, turns out this was the same week that Ray Charles had the #1 song in America with Hit the Road Jack. So we did it and we won. And your Packers won 9 of the first 10 meetings against Minnesota. Now, of course, it was the Lombardi era. So it makes you wonder, how'd we even let the Purple Ones beat us once?
That's a good point.
These things are worrisome. Another interesting tidbit is that in 2013 and 2018, we had a couple of games against the Vikings that went into overtime and ended up as ties. Can you imagine, Scott, if the Packers get a second tie this season, what that will do to all the math?
It's just, I don't even want to think about it. It makes my head hurt.
Okay, I'll move on then. For me, my most memorable Packers-Vikings game, Monday night, November 21st, 2005. This was the season the Packers called up running back Samcon Gatto because Amon Green was injured. Samcon is now actually a doctor back east here in the U.S., even though he's from Nigeria, I believe. And this was the first ever Lambeau Field game for my wife and the kids. Freezing cold at kickoff because it was Monday night in November. Was not prepared. I didn't know Scott. I didn't know how to layer. We froze.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Did you wear T-shirts or what did you wear?
I had a jacket and blue jeans. It was a close game all night long. We ended up losing 20-17 at the very end, thanks to a Minnesota field goal as time expired. This made us feel even colder. But on the plus side, we did get some autographs from William Henderson and Mark Tauscher at a meet and greet. So all was not lost. Okay. Now the weather this coming Sunday at Lambeau Field looks like NFC North weather. Well, at least for the 2 teams in the division that actually play outdoors. It's going to be cloudy, chance of rain, 43 degrees Fahrenheit. That's about 6 degrees Celsius. May want to wear a light sweater or a cardigan to the game. What do you think, Scott? I mean,
you do know the Vikings play inside at home, right?
I know. So it's going to be very cold for them. And what I want to know, if you have a number one Packers Vikings memory, and is it or is it not the he did what game?
Oh, that one definitely stands out. I actually was talking about that exact play with my brother while we were watching the game. But the one that stands out to me was one I've talked about it before. I actually attended a Packers Vikings game that was in Milwaukee. You remember they used to play in Milwaukee quite a bit at County Stadium. That was even before Miller Park was a thing, which is now referred to as American Family Stadium or whatever, AmFam. I tried to look up the date thinking, I'll just go look up that one time the Packers played the Vikings at County Stadium and I can put it here on the format. Turns out they've played the Vikings 15 times there. So I had no idea which game it actually was. All I remember is that they won, and I was pretty young at the time. But man, what a cool memory going to see a football game on a baseball field. I know that's like kind of common. I think the Michigan Wolverines played at Wrigley Field this past weekend. It's a thing. But as a kid, that was a novelty thing, and I love County Stadium. So
there you go.
Yeah. Did I tell you this? I bought my dad for either Father's Day or his birthday one year. They took all the seats out of County Stadium before, when they tore it down. They were just bench seats. And I was able to buy him one of the seats.
Nice.
From actual County Stadium. Like, they cut it and they had a certificate of authenticity and everything. And he still got it in his collection somewhere, an actual seat from County Stadium. They even had gum on the bottom of it.
Oh, but still, I would clean the gum off somehow, but still, that's a great gift.
Mm-hmm. I thought so. Well, Wayne, it is time for some victory keys for the Packers to win over the Vikings. Are you ready, sir?
I am ready because 2 in a row would be sweet.
It would be sweet. Strategy number 1, contain Aaron Jones on early downs. As much as I love Josh Jacobs, I'd be lying if I said I didn't miss Aaron Jones just a little bit. It's especially bad now that the Packers defense has to face him at home. With that said, containing him early on is going to be key for this game. Forcing third and long situations will be helpful to allow the secondary to do its job. I'd much rather the Vikings try to rely on the second-year quarterback J.J. McCarthy than a seasoned back like Aaron Jones. Strategy number 2, don't give Jefferson his breakout game, please. As a fantasy football team owner who picked Justin Jefferson as his number 1 draft pick, I've been very disappointed with his output this season. I'm begging the Packers to hand me another loss this week and keep him in check.
Oh, cool.
Strategy number 3, let Jordan Love control the game. As inconsistent as he's been this season, I still have a lot of faith in Jordan Love. This is where he needs to control the game by exploiting 3 weaknesses on the Minnesota defense. 1, crossers. 2, slot misdirection. And 3, running backs leaking out late after play actions. If he can do that, there is no reason that he and the rest of the Green Bay Packers can't walk all over Minnesota and win this one in front of the home crowd, which includes me and my wife this time around. So there you go.
Fantastic, Scott. Thank you very much. Great insights. And after we shellac the Vikings like we did in the old days, this can officially begin the rebuilding years for the Vikings. Just send them in a downward spiral. And it all starts with you and your wife, Dan Dyler and company, rooting on the Packers to victory.
We have our defense signs. We got a D and a fence.
Oh, you are ready. You are prepared.
Oh, we've been using them for years. We just kind of doctor them up a little bit, make sure they're still standing, but they're good. They're good. We got those. We got some green and gold wigs. We got, cheese head necklaces. We got all kinds of stuff, man. It's going to be great.
We need photos.
Oh yeah. You'll get photos for sure. But let's go on to our PFP wager of fun. Last week, the final score was 27-20. I predicted 17-13. Wayne predicted 14-10. My differential was 17. Wayne's was 23. That means I get my second win of the season. So that's pretty awesome. Hallelujah.
Nice. Congrats.
Thank you. That means that the score is 4-2. So I'm catching up on you, sir. And as for the PFP listener section, our best differential was what do you know? Jay Walters. He stuck with the 27, said Green Bay 27, New York 14, a differential of only 6 points, which means he has extended his lead. He has now got 2 games on everybody else in first place with 3 wins, while second place David Hawkins, Brett Connor, and Dan Dowler each have 1 win each.
Wow.
Congratulations to Jay.
Jay. Nice work.
Things up. Yeah. As for this week, I'm predicting a lower scoring game, especially after watching the Vikings, with the Lions last night, which I thought was going to be a higher scoring game. I think it was like 6-6 at the half or something.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I'm thinking that this is going to be lower scoring. So I'm going to say Green Bay 17, Minnesota 13.
Oh, okay. I'm going to go with a little higher scoring because we're back at Lambeau and we've turned that page, so to speak, Scott. Packers 20, Vikings 16 at the most.
All right. Our PFP listeners, you heard Dan say Green Bay 27, Minnesota 14. A lot of people are on that 27 bandwagon. So Jay Walters says Green Bay 27, Minnesota 18. Garrett Stritzel, Green Bay 27, Minnesota 17. Oh, that's a tight one there. Nate Graham, Green Bay 7, Minnesota 6. Nobody ever predicts double single digits. That's interesting. Brett Connor says Green Bay 24, Minnesota 20. Joe Christensen says Green Bay 21, Minnesota 21. Tie game. And then Thomas Carlson says Green Bay 31, Minnesota 14. Ooh,
Oh, my.
Lots of interesting choices there.
Very interesting. Joe Christensen calling for the tie. If he nails that spot on,
He just gets a t-shirt automatically, right?
for calling for the tie. Oh, good stuff indeed. So the NFC North, at least for now, somehow the Bears, luckiest team in the NFC, are 7-3. The Packers are in second place, 6-3-1. Lions fell down to third place at 6-4, and the Vikings are 4-6. Yikes.
What a tight division. I know it's still 3 games between first place and fourth place, but still, it's just like kind of crazy how tight that is.
Mm-hmm.
Some other interesting NFL happenings that caught our eye this week. Josh Allen. Holy crap. By the way, I played against Josh Allen in fantasy football this week, so that was awesome. He had a stellar day against Tampa Bay. 3 touchdown passes, 3 rushing touchdowns. This has only happened 3 times in NFL history, Wayne. And by the way, one of those other times was also Josh Allen.
Nice.
So the other one was Otto Graham back in 1954. That is how little that this has happened. 3 passing touchdowns, 3 rushing touchdowns by a single quarterback. Absolutely insane.
That is insane. I think that last week when the Bills and Josh Allen looked so pathetic that they just brought up the righteous anger within themselves and just took it out on the Buccaneers. It's crazy stuff. For me, you kind of alluded to it earlier. Aaron Rodgers has sustained a slight left wrist injury. He thinks he'll be back very soon. He would even like to be back this week for obvious reasons. The unfortunate thing is he probably won't get a chance to show the Bears that he still owns them one last time before he retires. But he's motivated, so I wouldn't be surprised. But as of today, they say that Mason Rudolph will just have to take care of the business end of things for the Steelers against the Bears if Aaron is not cleared. So we'll keep our eye on that.
It makes it easier just that way you can just cheer for the Steelers without having to cheer for Aaron Rodgers. So yeah, that's good.
Oh my, I'm rooting for Aaron Rodgers. But we'll see what happens. This is week 12. The teams on their bye weeks: Denver, Miami, the LA Chargers, and the Washington Commanders. Do you have any of these players from these teams on your fantasy football teams? If so, time to make a change unless you really like living on the edge.
Awesome Weather Podcast. The Gaming Outsider has a new episode out this week, and we got a special guest. I think I mentioned it last week, and we were hoping to get him on last week. It didn't work out, but we are having him this week. He is a developer of a game created for the Nintendo Game Boy from the 90s called Maiden of the Dark. Really looking forward to talking to him about developing, a brand new game for older technology. And also we're going to talk about other homebrew games, because this is a whole market of video games, believe it or not. People that are making Nintendo games, Sega Genesis games, Game Boy games, all this stuff. We're going to talk about some of our favorites. You can find my show the same places you listen to this one. And you can also check out our website at thegamingoutsider.com.
I thought it was at thegamingoutsider.com.
It is at thegamingoutsider.com. Thanks so much for supporting our efforts here at the PFP. We really appreciate it. Details on how to join can be found at PackersFanPodcast.com/give back. Go Pack Go, Mr. J. Walters, and thank you for your Bart Star level patronage. We do appreciate it. Dan Dowler, your Jordan Love level support also warrants thanks, and Go Pack Goes. We do appreciate it.
And go Pack Go, and thank you to our cherished Brett Favre level patrons, Scott Boers, Miguel Ramirez, and Megan. And sending thanks and go Pack Goes to the PFP Lambo level patrons, Joe Christensen, Brett Connor, and Hank Davis from the free Podcast Tools YouTube channel. If you're interested in joining in, check out the details at PackersFanPodcast.com/giveback. Now, the Unofficial Packers Fan Podcast is not affiliated with the NFL or the Green Bay Packers, so please, best thing you can do is tell more of your friends about the old Packers Fan Podcast. Do you know it's the show by and for fans of your 13-time NFL champion Green Bay Packers?
I did not know that. That's amazing. You can also follow us on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, at Packers Fan Pod. You can follow me personally at GoCastScott, or my gaming outsider handle is at the GoCast, and Wayne's handle is at Wayne Henderson. And here's PFP community members Andre in LA, Megan, Dan Dialer, and Joe Christensen helping root the Pack onto victory over the Purple Ones.
Go Pack, go!
Go Pack, go!